Imagine opening your phone tomorrow morning and seeing the headline, World War III has begun. No movie, no simulation. A real global war unfolding in real time. This thought is terrifying, but what would actually happen in the first hours, days, and weeks? In this video, we'll break down, step by step, the immediate consequences, the role of world powers, the risk of nuclear weapons, the collapse of the economy, the impact on ordinary people, and whether humanity could even survive such a conflict. Every war in history began with a single event that spiraled out of control. In 1914, it was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. In 1939, it was Germany's invasion of Poland. In the 21st century, the spark could look very different. It might be a cyber attack that shuts down a nation's power grid, a military clash in the South China Sea or Eastern Europe, a terrorist attack on a symbolic target, or even a political miscalculation, a misunderstanding that escalates too far. And unlike the slower communication of the past, today's spark would ignite instantly. Within minutes, billions would know. The world is at war. The first day would be unlike anything humanity has ever experienced. Governments would declare national emergencies. Borders would close. Airports would ground flights. Financial markets would collapse. The value of global trade, trillions of dollars, would plummet in hours. Military forces would be placed on high alert. Nuclear submarines, stealth bombers, and anti-missile systems would be mobilized. Ordinary people would panic. Supermarkets would be emptied, gas stations overrun, pharmacies stripped bare. And behind the scenes, world leaders would be asking the most frightening question of all. Will this stay conventional or go nuclear? For decades, the fear of nuclear war has haunted humanity. And with 9 nations possessing nuclear weapons today, the United States, Russia, China, France, the UK, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea, the risk is higher than ever. Would they be used immediately? Probably not. Strategic experts believe the superpowers would first test limits using conventional warfare. But tactical nuclear weapons, smaller warheads designed for the battlefield, could be deployed as a warning. Even a single detonation could kill tens of thousands instantly, poison water and soil, and send shockwaves through global society. The terrifying part is not whether nukes would be used, but when. Once a nuclear weapon is launched, the chances of escalation to full-scale nuclear war are nearly unstoppable. In World War II, the world was divided into the Axis and the Allies. In World War III, the alliances might look like this: NATO and Allies, United States, Canada, most of Europe, Japan, South Korea, Australia. Opposing bloc, Russia, China, Iran, and potentially North Korea. Swing nations, India, Turkey, Brazil, and several African nations, whose choice of side could tip the balance. Neutrality would be almost impossible. Global supply chains and modern military technologies mean every nation would be drawn in, directly or indirectly. Wars are not only fought with weapons but with money. The moment war breaks out, the global economy collapses. Stock markets crash by 50% or more. The price of oil and natural gas skyrockets. Food exports stop, leading to shortages in dependent countries. Banks freeze international transactions to prevent sabotage. Within days, millions could lose jobs. Within weeks, billions could face hunger as trade routes shut down. Unlike past wars, this wouldn't be regional. It would be global poverty, global unemployment, and global panic. World War III wouldn't just be fought with tanks and missiles. It would extend into cyberspace and even outer space. Cyber attacks could cripple hospitals, banks, energy plants, and airports. Satellites would be targeted, cutting off GPS, internet connections, and military communications. AI-powered drones and automated weapons would play a central role. The battlefield of the future would be everywhere, from underground bunkers to orbiting satellites. For civilians, the human toll would be unimaginable. Cities could become targets of missile strikes. Electricity, internet, and clean water could vanish in hours. Families would be separated as millions are drafted into armies. Refugee waves would overwhelm borders as people flee conflict zones. Even in wealthy nations, life would resemble wartime survival, rationing, blackouts, bomb shelters. In poorer regions, survival would depend entirely on community networks. In a matter of weeks, our modern lifestyle, smartphones, streaming, shopping malls, could collapse into a reality resembling the early 20th century. Does World War III mean the end of civilization? If nuclear weapons remain unused, it's possible the world could survive a long but devastating conventional war. Cities destroyed could be rebuilt, economies could recover, and new alliances could form. But if nuclear exchanges occur, survival becomes far less certain. Hundreds of millions could die within days. A nuclear winter caused by ash and smoke could block sunlight, collapsing agriculture worldwide. Global famine could follow, wiping out billions. It wouldn't just be a war between nations. It would be a war for the survival of humanity itself. If humanity does survive, the world would be forever changed. Possible outcomes include a single global government formed to prevent another war, the rise of new superpowers in regions less affected, a complete ban on nuclear weapons and autonomous AI weapons, or, in a darker scenario, a fragmented world ruled by local warlords, where international travel, trade, and cooperation are relics of the past. One thing is certain: the 21st century would be remembered as the turning point of human history. World War III is not inevitable, but the risk exists and grows with every unresolved conflict, every arms race, and every political rivalry. It is both a warning and a reminder. The fate of humanity rests not in the weapons we build, but in the choices we make. The question is, if it started tomorrow, would we survive? Or would it be our final day on Earth? If this video gave you something to think about, make sure to subscribe for more what-if scenarios where science, history, and imagination collide to help us understand the fragile world we live in.